So, Ilham, and
Okay.
Yes, me.
Okay, we're ready, madam.
if you're ready, you can push the record button and start. Yeah.
Aku start eh?
Start. Okay.
Aku start kena start.
Kau lah.
Aku. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Today, I, Ahmad Ahmad Nawari, and my partner Ilyas will present about Malaysia natural rubber production, Malaysian natural rubber strips in import and export version. So, for the first topic, I will give Ilyas to intro about the rubber tree.
Okay, for the introduction right now, I'm gonna introduce what is the rubber tree. So the rubber tree, or its scientific name is Hevia brasiliensis, are grown in Southeast Asia. So countries in Southeast Asia such as Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and so on. So the first rubber tree was planted in Malaysia in 1877. Due to Malaysia's tropical climate, characterized by warmth and abundant rainfall, it provides an ideal environment for cultivating rubber trees. The rubber tree itself is collected using the rubber tree. The rubber from the rubber tree is collecting using tapping method on the tree's bark. The latex is slowly processed into solid rubber through drying and other steps. So from the tree, we will collect the natural rubber, and the natural rubber will later be processed through drying and other methods to become the solid rubber that is used in many industries, such as for the mechanical, for the surgical, and so on and so on. So Idham, you may continue.
So next, I will continue about import and export. So import is a process where we buy a good and service from other country uh, for to fulfill our country need or demand domestic. So export is the process of sending good or service. Or in other words, we say we buy the service or good and service from other country. For the country who need the product. For example, we import the rubber. We import the rubber in case the country didn't have the stock of the rubber, natural rubber. So we will import the rubber, natural rubber or synthetic rubber from the Thailand, Vietnam, and other country. For the export, we will export some of our product to other country because of other country need the product because they don't have the product the product lah. So next I will continue on the production of natural rubber. Based on the data that we taken from Department of Statistics Malaysia as our main source, the highest production is on January 2024 and the lowest is the March 2024 where the first quarter it show the first quarter of 2024 in January. Natural rubber has been produced about 30,287, while in March it's been produced 26,966. Uh, the product of we based on the data of Department of Statistics Malaysia, it mentioned that the product of natural rubber may increase because of some factors such as rain, continuity of high temperature, number of tapping and land use for rubber production, rubber tree planting lah. And then based on Department of Statistics also, uh, on February and March, the data is increasing about 9.2%, where the 88.5% of production is coming from the small sector garden. So, therefore, we can conclude based on the data is being stated in figure 1 is uh, the production of natural rubber in first quarter of 2024 is decreasing from January to March. So next, I will pass to Ilyas to continue.
Next, I will be presenting the natural rubber imports and exports. So if you can see in the graph on the top right, that graph, it shows the production, the exports, imports, domestic consumptions, and also the stocks. But right now we'll be focusing more on the exports and the imports. So in this graph, it is shown between 2022 and 2024, but we will only focusing on the last 3 months in the end of the graph, which is January, February, and March, the first quarter of 2024. So, global in-trade of natural rubber becomes essential to the international commerce due to widespread use across various industries. Like I mentioned before, the rubber may be used in automotive industry, medical and healthcare products, and also sport equipment. So, for the automotive industry, such as the tires that we can see on our cars, our motorcycles, even on the straps on the doors, those are all made from rubber. For the medical and healthcare products, such as the gloves that are used for surgery, and for the sport equipment, we can see in rackets, on the handle of the rackets, they have those rubber handles. You can also see in basketball and football, they are also made from quite a bit of rubber to maintain that elasticity so it can bounce. So to move on to the data, we can see in the graph for the import in January, we have imported 114,790 tons of rubber, and moving on to February, it has increased to 134,480 tons. Meanwhile, in March, the import of rubber has decreased to 94,493 tons. Meanwhile, for the exports, our exports from January to March has been increasing. So we can see in January it starts with 43,111 tons. In February, 55,083 tons, and moving on to last, that is March, 58,965 tons. So shown in the rubber production tons. So the rubber production in January is 3,853, which increases to 4,232, which yet decreases again to 300. Sorry about the noise. Which yet again decreases to 3,853. So we can see that, in conclusion, that the imports right now is decreasing. Meanwhile, is increasing and decreasing. Meanwhile, for the exports, its trend is maintainingly increasing, and also for the rubber production, it's increasing and decreasing. So, while a balance between imports and exports is ideal, imports alone contribute positively to an economy by lowering costs, enhancing consumer choice, driving innovation, and supporting specialization. For exports, a powerful driver of economic growth and development. They create jobs, bring in income, stimulate innovation, and help countries integrate into the global economy. A strong sector contributes to a healthier trade balance, enhances currency stability, and strengthens the economy resilience to domestic downturns. While both imports and exports are essential for a balanced economy, exports play a crucial role in building economic prosperity and global competitiveness. I would like to give it back to Idham for the conclusion.
Based on the conclusion by Department of Statistics, see the first quarter of 2024, the performance, the natural rubber production are decreased by 7.5% to 86,694 tons, as compared to 93,956 tons in the previous quarter. Meanwhile, the export of natural rubber experienced the different trend within the increase 2.3% in the first quarter of 2024. Compared to the third quarter of 2023, it is a past year. The import of natural rubber, on the other hand, increased by 2.4%, while the use of natural rubber in the manufactured rubber-based product decreased 3.7% compared to the previous quarter. In other words, we see that production of rubber on first quarter of 2024 is decreased, and also the import of natural rubber is increased, and export of increase and export of rubber production is decreased. Therefore, we can conclude that, um, based on our previous study, maybe the continuity of high climate will already affect the production of rubber, natural rubber, and because of that, we need to import more natural rubber from other country to fulfill our domestic demand. So that's all from us. Thank you.
All right. Ilham and Ilyas, that was, yeah, about 10 minutes. Okay, a very comprehensive presentation there. Thank you very much. You can go now and, make sure you take the attendance.
Alright.
All right. Thank
Uh,
you. Good job.
Okay.
Okay.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
madam.
madam.